Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 96 of Direwolf 20's Let's Play series. Oh man, can you believe it's almost getting to the point we're at episode 100? Almost. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. So, what are we going to do in episode 96? That's a good question. Well, one thing that as I've been, working on my base here, I've noticed I'm a little bit short on diamonds. Believe it or not, I've got a stupid amount of resources, right? Like I've got 14,000 coal, and I've got like 10,000 jungle wood, and almost 9,000 iron. So I've got a ton of really cool resources that I really don't have any fear of running out of. But several times I've run out of diamonds, and I've run over, turned on my, mining machine with this ender chest over here, waited a little while for the resources to come in, but frankly, I'm getting to the point where I'm really low on diamonds. And I'm also low on storage space here, so I need to find a way to generate diamonds without generating a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, if I wanted to, I could probably go ahead and, produce a ton of resources and just store it in more storage, but maybe I want to come up with a diamond generator machine. Now, there's a couple ways to go about making diamonds, so let's look at some of the options available. So if we look into NEI here, let's see how to make diamonds. Well, we've got diamond block to diamonds. That's not going to help. Are there any good ways to make diamond blocks that I don't know about? I mean, doesn't really look like much of an option there. We could go with diamond shards, which are made from magic bees. Ooh, that might be cool. Let's see if there's any other nifty ways to go about making diamonds. We can do the diamond nuggets. Those are translocator nuggets. The only way to get those is by crafting a diamond, so that's not going to work. Smelting diamond ore, compressing. So if we want to do the industrial craft coal compression way, you basically get some obsidian and some compressed coal dust, and you can make diamonds that way. So that's another option for diamond creation. What else do we really have here? I don't know. I really don't think we have much of an option. The only other way that I know of, so we can flip through here and see there's really nothing exciting, we could do the rock crusher from Railcraft. The only problem with that is it's basically you take gravel and you put it in a rock crusher and you have less than 1% chance to get a diamond. So it's like, 1 out of every 1,000 gravel. Now, obviously, that would be easy to set up and do, so maybe I'll build that machine and just let it run for a little while. And then my final option is 8 blocks of coal, which basically, 8 times 9 is 72, so a little bit more than a stack of coal will get me a diamond. But based on having 14,000 coal at the moment, I think that comes out to like maybe a little over, or a little less than 200. I think maybe something along those lines. So, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out a good way to do it. Maybe I'll go the bees route. Now, a lot of people have been asking for bees recently and saying, when are you going to get the bees? You haven't done bees in a while. But I also know some people don't necessarily enjoy watching the whole bee aspect of things. So, we also have diamond fragments from extra bees. What can we use them for? Those make an industrial diamond. That's interesting. They should probably be making a regular diamond because, well, let's see. I don't know that industrial diamonds. I think really the best thing you can do with those is convert them directly to diamonds. So I mean that's another option is the extra bees process. So that's a diamond comb from diamond bees, or I could get diamond shards from magic bees. So it looks like there's 2 bees that'll get me access to diamonds. So we're gonna have to kind of figure out what we want to do here. Maybe I'll start off and make a basic grinder, just because that would be pretty easy to set up. I can do like basically it's this, right? We're gonna get a bunch of gravel, and the best way to get gravel is probably either through a pulverizer or a rock crusher. We could use the rock crusher directly, or we could, I mean, there's a couple routes we could go, right? So maybe I'll go through the process of getting lots of gravel. Yeah, I mean, I might even have a bunch already, but cobblestone generator to gravel to diamonds? Sound like a fun little build to do, but I'm going to tell you guys that's going to be slow. So maybe then, once I've done that, I'll jump into the bees approach. Now, I know some people aren't big fans of bees, so what I'm going to do is make sure that I make it entertaining for those of you who are not giant bee fans. We have a lot of different things we can automate bees with in this mod pack, so it's probably a good idea for me to start looking at them. Number one, a big and really powerful way to use bees is using logistics pipes. They have a whole bunch of bee components that make things really cool. And then your second best bet is probably, hey, why isn't this working? Oh, there we go. Your second best bet there is obviously the Extra Bees mod. Extra Bees is all about making bee breeding that much better and easier. So I think we're definitely at the point where we have a lot of resources to make bees easier on us, and we'll also be able to use them to get some other stuff down the line. Once we've got a basic bee breeding system up and running, we can probably say, hey, you know, we want to make sure that we get some cool stuff, and we might need access to things that we can't otherwise get through bees. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, why don't I get started getting the stuff I need to get ready for this diamond machine by way of Railcraft. But again, I know it's going to be really slow, so we're going to set it up and let it run, and maybe we'll come back and check on it after an episode or two, and hopefully we will have gotten at least a couple diamonds, and then we'll, you know, move into the bee stuff, and I'll hopefully be able to make it so that you guys who aren't huge fans of bees will at least enjoy watching it, because it'll be more logistics pipes and all this other logistics and sorting stuff, more so than that. And I should probably go ahead and create a few more storage cells. Let me get 4K storage cells. I'll get a few of them. Be right back. Alright, so let's set this up in the floor here. Though, as you recall, if you walk into this thing, it could hurt. So maybe I want to recess it a little bit. Yeah, that might be cool. Yeah, I like that. So maybe, remember, it's a 3x2x2 that we need to do here. So what if I just did this? You ready? I'll grab some rock crusher, and we'll just kind of zip down a little bit. 1, 2, 3 by 2x2. And that should form. Cool. So now at least it's like kind of recessed into the wall there, but at the same time I can access it pretty easily. Oh, you know what I forgot to grab was cables. That should be enough. So let's run some power into this thing. Do I have any redstone energy conduit power stuff nearby? Relatively nearby. I don't feel like it's very good. It wouldn't be very efficient to go ahead and snag things. Let's do this. And then I can use this stuff because I've got so much redstone energy conduit anymore, right? It wouldn't be super efficient to, you know, plug into my AE system when it's that close. You know, P2P there would kind of be useless. So that should be all the power I need. Good. Then it's a simple matter of export bus, right into there. Boom. And your job is to export stacks of gravel. Gravel. Stack mode, maybe it has to go into the top. If that's the case, that's alright. Oh good, I caught it. Let's just try it real quick to find out. Yeah, see, it hurts a little bit. Is that going to work for us? Yeah, alright, so it does need to go into the, you know, into there. So if we take a look at this, we'll see that gravel is going to eventually, via way of rock crusher, give us a chance for some diamonds. The only other thing we need to do then is probably cover this up. And I'll make that look pretty in a minute. And we'll get an import bus. Hopefully that'll be enough to pull the items in faster than the rock crusher can crush them. You can see obviously there's tons of rock crusher recipes here, so if we ever want to do more with it, that would be cool. I'm debating, I might want to actually, instead of doing this, I have an idea. Let's do this actually, you ready? Let's grab a hopper and a chest. And then we're going to grab another one of these basic dudes. It's already in there. Good. Precision import. That's what I want. So the reason I'm doing this is I actually want to catalog how well this works. So let's actually stick a chest here. Break this dude. Put the hopper here. And then hopefully the hopper will pull the items out, right? Cool. And then we can come down here with the cables. This is obviously more complicated than it needs to be, right? But there's a reason for this. I want to see how good of a job we do. So let's go ahead and get some sand. And now the only thing this is allowed to pull in is sand. So any sand that lands in here will automatically be pulled into the AE system, but anything that's not sand won't be. Okay, so the reason for this is, what are we potentially getting from this? Diamonds and gold nuggets, apparently, right? So when I come back in a little bit, I should be able to look into this chest and see how productive this system was. Did we get a whole ton of diamonds, or did we get, like, 1 or 0? I guess we'll find out. So we'll come back in a little bit and check on this little guy, and if he's, worth continuing, great. If he's not, well then, we'll know, and, we'll probably cut off the power, because there's no sense in letting it run if we're really not getting a lot of diamonds. So it's a pretty low chance that you'll get a diamond out of this process. Oh, that's right, I need a facade, don't I? Stone brick facades, not covers. They're not multi-parts until 1.7, but facades work. Ah, take that. All right. Back in a minute now because it's time to start looking at bees. Alright guys, so what's the deal with bees? Well, there's basically two types of bees. There's drones, which we have a handful of, probably from mining and a couple other things that we've gotten. You can see we've gotten a decent number of rocky drones. That's kind of good actually. And a bunch of other handful of drones that we've actually found throughout our adventures and probably got sucked into here. And then there's princesses, which typically are mated with drones. Now, before I can really start out with the whole bee thing, I'm going to need to get myself a scoop. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to get an extra one just in case. And I'm going to head back to an area that actually has some world generation, unlike this Void Age. So let's head back to the overworld and start flying around looking for some types of bees that might help us get started in the whole bee process. Now, there's several things we're going to need to do to get started with bees, so we're going to have to take a look at most of these pretty soon. So first off, oh, there we go. That's what I need. Thank you. The bees. So you find them in hives and you break the hives with scoops, and you'll typically get from a hive at least one forest and one drone, or one princess and one drone, and the type of hive that you find determines the type of bee that you'll get. So that was a forest hive, which has been floating above my base since episode 1, and I'm now looking for a meadows hive. So that might be, there's an example of one. Cool. Dun dun dun. And these kinds of bees are just slightly different. Now, different bees create different types of processes and different types of items and different types of effects. There's all kinds of different things that all the different bees get. I'd actually like to find one or two more types of hive. Oh, there we go. Found, wow, cool. A couple of them right next to each other. Looks like these are actually two different beehives. This looks like a forest one again, and this is one of the magic bees ones, I think. So let's see. Yes, mystical princess. Cool. So let me fly around in this, area here. We'll see. Is this another mystical? That looks like another forest one. Yeah, I don't know if I need any more forest bees. I wouldn't mind another mystical one. Here's a resonating one. That's cool. That gave me a sorceress princess. Not all of the hives will give you a drone, as you can see, but typically they will give you a princess. And really, the princesses are the things that are rare. Once you've played with bees a little bit, you'll find that you have more than enough drones. And we'll probably start destroying them in all kinds of crazy ways. But don't worry, we'll get to that bit in a little bit. Let's, for now, find some more beehives. So, I'll be back in a minute once I've flown around and looked for more beehives out and about. Oh, by the way, one more thing to note about hives is that the biome you're in is a strong, pretty much the only thing that's going to determine the type of hive you find. So if you're looking for modest drones and princesses, for example, you're going to need to find modest hives, which you can only find in the desert. Pahi cow, just lives up in this pahi tree. And one more little tip for you guys looking for hives, especially look at night. Jungle hives, or tropical hives for that matter, are pretty hard to track down. They're actually somewhat rare, and you're going to want to go ahead and get them because the main thing that makes them hard to find is just the fact that they tend to look pretty much like the leaves that they're hiding in. They're in the treetops and jungle biomes only, and that makes them a little tricky. So by doing it at night, as you can see, they kind of emit light, so it's kind of a nice way to see what's going on, and it makes it easier to track them down. Alright, so while I'm flying around here looking for more jungle hives, which I'm apparently not finding, I will come back and we'll start doing something with these bees. See, I totally wouldn't have found this hive right here if it weren't for the fact that it was emitting light. Alright, now that we've got a couple bees, we're going to need to breed them in something so that they can start producing things for us. And for that purpose, we're going to need a machine from forestry called the apiary. The apiary is what allows you to breed your bees, get them to reproduce, and create a bunch of resources for you. It's pretty much what I'm going to say is the middle tier block. There's one that's below it, but it's really not something you even want to bother with, especially at this point in the game. So we're going to go straight to the tier 2 version of the bee producing block, which is the apiary. So for this, we're going to need some slabs of wood and some planks of wood, but then we're also going to need a special block known as impregnated casing. For this, we're going to need some wood and we're going to need some seed oil. So in order to get seed oil, it's pretty straightforward. All we need to do is drop into a squeezer any kind of seeds. You guessed it. So there's a lot of different seeds available. As we need a larger amount of seeds, we're going to have to get into some of the tree breeding mechanics. We may or may not get to that point, but what we can do in order to really kick this off and get started is just use regular old wheat seeds. Now, the seeds from the tree breeding will get you a decent amount of seed oil. You know, like a quarter of a bucket here, or, you know, a tenth of a bucket there, etc. But for regular old seeds, you're only going to get 1/100th of a bucket. So you're basically going to need, like, you know, 10 of these to get a tenth of a bucket. You're going to need 100 of these to get a bucket's worth of seed oil. It's a pretty inefficient process, and the same can be said for pumpkin and melon seeds. Okay, so really no seeds that you're going to find out in the wild that are going to be too useful. Nut dew from Extra Bees apparently has a decent amount, and you know, a seed oil capsule, of course, is going to be just a capsule of seed oil. So that's pretty much what you're looking at. So the squeezer there is your purpose. So let's get ourselves a squeezer to get going. So the squeezer is simply this guy. Cool. We're going to need a sturdy casing first, and then we're going to need the squeezer. Neat. I'm debating, do I want a second one? For now, I think we're good. So let's get some seeds. They might just be a stack's worth as what's represented in here, or maybe not. Guessing we got seeds in here just somewhere. There we go. Minecraft seeds. That's cool. Let's go ahead and find a place to put this. I'm thinking this room that I'm in right now might actually work out really well for my bee breeding room, because there's quite a few liquids involved in bee breeding. We're going to need to deal with honey, liquid DNA, a couple other things. So if we have liquids needed, then we can just access them in here. And this, by the way, room will have a second one, two... maybe probably like here. I don't know, we'll see how it works out, but we'll basically have tanks that look like that as well. So we'll have a bunch of different tanks in here as needed for the different liquids that we're going to come across in our bee breeding adventure. So let's get started. I guess first off I should build a tank to store my seed oil in. So let's get that set up. So seed oil, or tank, let's see, what do we have for tank walls? We're doing alright. Not the best, but alright. So I'll be back in a minute once I built a decent multi-block tank. Alright guys, so pretty standard setup. Let's write the memory settings to the card here. And then, actually no, I'm going to use fluid ducts here for that purpose. That'll store liquids in the iron tank. And then it's time to set up the squeezer mechanic. So let's get that going. Sometimes it's hard to sneak into that 2x2 area. Alright, so I'm thinking, where should we have the squeezer? Maybe this will be a wall of machines here. So we'll start in the corner and we'll kind of just spread out from there. So the squeezer can sit right here. Now he's going to need power, so let's see if we've got a power line nearby. I'm thinking we should, based on where we are. Yeah, power's not too far off. So again, instead of wasting P2Ps, we'll go ahead and run a few power lines up. It's, you know, only several blocks. So I'm thinking probably want the power to be underneath the machines. And then to get it going, all we need is some seeds. So if we just toss some seeds in there, you'll see them process and produce a very small amount of seed oil, almost imperceptibly small. And that's where we want to suck that stuff out. So we're probably going to want, man, we're going to have a, let's see, what do we got by way of cabling nearby? Maybe I should use a P2P. I don't know. I'll consider it. I mean, it's not like I'm low on resources, really. But to be fair, P2Ps to use diamonds, so keep that in mind. Yeah, I guess this is starting to look ugly. Let's see here. Let's tidy this up and make it look good. What do you say? I knew you guys wouldn't disagree with me too much on that. After all, I'm doing my best to make this thing look nice this season. So yeah, we'll just run this into here. So let's grab this guy real quick. Where's my P2P connection? There it is. Settings saved. Let's get a transfer node. You guys can see I made a ton of those. So I'm pretty sure these guys require Buildcraft power. I don't think they'll run on RF because they're forestry-based machines. So what we'll do is we'll have this guy, this guy. So you can see it's already storing a little bit of energy that was in there before, but that energy is being drained because squeezers use a small amount of power just to be left on at any time. And this guy, cool. And then it's just a matter of connecting it up, and we should be getting power now. Cool, see? Power building up. Perfect, that's what I wanted to see. And then what we'll do is we'll pump this stuff out of here, and we'll do... I need another P2P now, because that was supposed to be used for the fluids. Good thing I made a bunch. Now that's going to be pulled out of there, so we're also going to need a pneumatic servo of sorts. Pneumatic servo. So, saved. Actually, you know what? I think I have to save this one, so let's turn this into a liquid duct. Saved. So I think it has to go from where it's going from to where it's going to. So if I load it now, we should see a small amount of seed oil. Nice. See? Super small amount, but it's in there. That means it's connected up and it worked, and this thing should be empty now. Cool. So the only other piece that we need for this is to make sure seed oil winds up going in here at all times. So probably for that, we'll want an export bus. So let's craft one of those real fast. And we shall say export bus seeds. Cool, right? So this thing will obviously dump seeds in here faster than they can produce. So now we've got an automated way to turn seeds into seed oil. The only other thing I need probably at this point is, it looks so cool, a good way to produce more seeds as needed. So at the very least, we're getting more seed oil. Slowly but surely, we're getting little bits of it. But, you know, we've already got almost enough to do what I need to do. So next up, what I'd like to do is set up the carpenter, which I'm going to need. The carpenter is where you actually get this stuff. So you'll see here that the apiary needs some impregnated casings, which needs a carpenter to craft it. But unlike the carpenter which we've seen before, which uses water, this one needs seed oil. So we're going to kind of reverse the setup we just did. Now, some people might say, hey, Direwolf, why don't you just pump the seed oil straight out of the squeezer here and into the carpenter? That would be cool. Except the problem would then be that I'm going to have like a surplus of seed oil in this tank downstairs, and if I use a whole bunch of it out of the carpenter, if I want to make a bunch of things, then I might, you know, run out. So what we're going to want to do is make sure that all the seed oil produced goes into the tank, and then all the seed oil used is pulled out of the tank. That way we'll never run dry in the carpenter here and wind up with a bunch in the tank that isn't getting used. So trust me, that's just your best bet. So let's stick this guy here, and we're going to do another little setup here. So we're going to need a fluid duct here, and we're going to want to head downstairs real quick. Dun, 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 dun. And we're probably going to want to tap into the bottom of this block. So that's probably right around here-ish. Here-ish? There it is. Cool. So we can stick this guy here, and you can see he's filling up with seed oil, right? So what I'm going to have here is this. There we are. Connected to this, and then we're going to save the settings onto the card here, yoink, and get some cabling run. Cool. And then we can come over here and load the settings that we're going to need, like this. And then seed oil should flow in. Cool. See that? So now the seed oil is filling up the carpenter. It's coming out of the tank. And the tank is going to continuously get filled up with seed oil, so that'll be good. So obviously we just ran out a little bit, but a small amount more of seed oil it looks like, because this thing's pretty full, and it's probably just buffering up inside the fluid ducts. So after probably 1 or 2 operations here, we should have pretty much a full tank, or a seed oil starting to repopulate in that tank. Now obviously the cover was there to prevent these two things from connecting, otherwise we'd have a loop in our system, which would not be good. So now that we've got the carpenter, we can go ahead and grab some wood. And we can get ourselves about a stack of it. That'll get us about 8 impregnated casings, which should be plenty. So just set up the recipe in here and have a good time. So this thing will start operating and doing its thing. Cool. Now at some point I'll show you guys how to automate this a little bit, but for now I think we're all right. The only thing we might want is some facade here. Let's see if I can get this. Nope. I'm always bad with facades, getting them to go where I want them to go. It's kind of like a trick to it, and I don't know the trick to it. I think you want to kind of look at the bounding box of where it's going to be. I don't know. I'm doing it wrong. Alright, we'll be right back. The real trick is to remove this thing like that and then put the export bus back. That's the real trick. There you go. Cool. Alright, back in a moment. Alright, now finally guys, in order to get things working here, we're going to need to do, well, we actually just need to have some flowers nearby. So I figured I should start the fancification of this room a little bit to kind of make it look a little bit nicer for us. I thought that might be a good idea. So one of the things I'd like to do is just not obviously have this boring old stone brick room. I thought that would be nice for us, right? You guys would appreciate that maybe? Maybe I need some more dirt. Not you, dirt. We get most of it? Yeah, most of it. You know what I just realized is we're probably doing things underground too. I'm like, why did I use so much dirt? I thought I grabbed enough. If we look underneath ourselves, we'll see why. I'm gonna have to fix this manually. There we go. Silly me and my double floors. Alright, so what I'll do is, actually I want to try and make this room like a little natural / nature stylish look. I'm going to definitely get this area turned into grass. We'll probably work on that next episode. Shouldn't be too hard to manage. And then what I'm thinking also is just to make something that basically looks really nice, right? A nice little bee room. Typically in the past when I've done bee rooms, it's been along the lines of just straight up grass and wood planks and stuff. So I'm going to try and make it a little bit nicer than that. I have a couple ideas on what I'm thinking, but we'll have to see. So let me just get a couple more things here. I'll clean up the rest of this floor in a minute, and I'll make this room nicer looking next episode, or at least in between this episode and next. What I need right now is a flower or a rose. Really? Neither? Alright. Let's jump back to the overworld and just snag one somewhere. Just to kind of get the ball rolling. I can borrow you guys for a minute, right? Thank you. I'll fix that room in a bit. So, what we should have now are some impregnated casings. Cool. And I can use these to get apiaries. So we're going to want to have, at least we can start off with several. Let's just get ourselves some more wood here. Boy, oh boy, what a mess of an inventory I have by the end of an episode. There we are. So 4 apiaries shouldn't be a bad start. Let's get some drones. So I'm going to want tropicals, forest, and meadows to start with, I think. That should be good. Might as well start off with mystical as well. I don't think that would be too bad. I might want a tuned. that might be a good idea. I don't think I need modest yet. So let me get one more apiary then if I'm going to have 5 bee types getting started. And for that, we're going to want the matching princesses. Now, next episode, we will be automating this whole thing, and that'll probably be a little bit more exciting for us. So here's one important difference, by the way, between bees. You'll find ignoble stock and pristine stock. When possible, use pristine stock. It's pretty much that easy. So mystical, I've got a pristine, good. Meadows, I've got mostly ignoble, so I might want to try and find another meadows, but at least for now, I'll use that. And then the forest one, that's an ignoble. This is a pristine. Oh, good, I got a pristine tropical. I got a pristine this. So meadows is really the only one. You know what I'll do? I'll come back and go find myself a pristine meadows, because really, I just want all pristine. For now, I'm going to just run these guys along the wall here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll probably wind up moving these eventually. But basically, to get started, place and match your princesses and drones, okay? And these guys will start running. However, they're going to tell you that they're missing some things, potentially. So this guy, right now, there's 2 important things to note, and that's the temperature and humidity. We're going to get more into this next episode. So right now, you'll see that our forest doesn't like the biome it's in. That's a problem. Same for our mystical and our attuned. Great. So the only one who's happy here in this humid biome, which is the Mushroom Island biome, is the Tropical Queen. So what we're going to have to do is come up with something better. The Tropical Queen, by the way, has no flowers nearby. I happen to know that I need some vines for this. So let's see. Oh, I apparently have 43, 35 vines. I don't know how it's even possible that I have so many vines, but I do. So just planting them on the wall nearby will make them happy, and then they'll start processing in a moment, or you can take them out and put them back in and they'll start running again too. And just having the flower nearby, aka the vines, will get this tropical bee running, and then she'll start producing some products for us. We'll come back next episode and see what we need to do in order to get our bees to be happy where they're living at the moment. I have an idea or 2, might work out. We'll see what happens. Anyway, for now, Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Next episode, a bunch of automation regarding bees. All right, guys, take it easy.